If you don't have a master blueprint for your network, how do you know when it's been compromised? That question is at the heart of a major cybersecurity requirement called a system baseline configuration. While the name sounds a bit technical, the concept is actually very simple. A baseline is just a documented, known good state for every device and system in your office. It is the official plan that describes exactly how your technology should be set up before it ever touches your network. For businesses working towards CMMC compliance, this is one of those foundational steps that makes everything else much easier to manage. When most people hear the word baseline, they immediately think of physical hardware, like the laptops on their desks, or the firewalls in their server closets. But in a modern business environment, your baseline has to go much further than that. You have to include your cloud and external systems in this master blueprint. If you are using Microsoft 365 or hosting data in Azure or AWS, those environments need their own documented standards. You need to define exactly which security groups are allowed and which third-party apps have permission to access your data, and even which regions of the world are allowed to connect to your tenant. Whether the system is sitting in your office or living in a data center halfway across the country, if it touches your company information, it needs a baseline. Now, when the time comes for an audit, the assessor is going to look for very specific evidence to prove you are actually following these rules. You can't just tell them you have a standard, you have to show them the paperwork. To meet the assessment objectives, you have to show that you have established both a baseline configuration and a system inventory. Both of these records need to be incredibly thorough and up to date. They must include your hardware, software, and firmware, and even the technical documentation for every device on your network. But just having a list is not enough. You have to prove that both the baseline and the inventory are reviewed and updated throughout the entire system development lifecycle. This means from the moment a new system is being planned or purchased, all the way through its retirement, you are actively maintaining those records according to your organization's specific policies. It is that ongoing maintenance that proves your security is a consistent process and not just a one-time event. The real reason this level of detail matters is a problem we call configuration drift. Over time, people install different software and settings, get tweaked for convenience, and eventually every system you own becomes a unique snowflake. This is a massive security risk because it makes it almost impossible to spot when a real threat has made a change to your system. A baseline gives you a point of comparison so you can catch unauthorized changes before they turn into a major problem. It moves you away from guessing that a system is secure and toward knowing it is secure because it matches your documented standard. If you are feeling overwhelmed by the thought of documenting all of this at once, the best way to start is by picking your most critical environment. Focus on your primary cloud tenant or your standard workstation first, and write down the essential software and the security requirements. Once you have the first blueprint, finishing the rest of the process becomes much more intuitive. Good documentation is the difference between a stressful audit and a successful one. It takes time to get these cloud baselines and system inventories right, but it is the most important work you can do for your network's resilience. If the technical heavy lifting or the organization feels like too much of a hurdle, then working with a good managed service provider can help you get everything back on track and audit ready. Thanks for watching.